RFA on Rubik, Johnny on Mars, Prey on Spirit Breaker, and Rev on the Troll Warlord. No smokeouts in this early game.
Yeah, these two will play very slow. Off the tower. That's massive, yeah, that is absolutely massive for Radiant. That's like a 2k gold swing and a 2k experience swing. That's gonna nullify a lot of the advantage that sort of goes on the top.
Tiny pushed off the haste and the deny comes out from RFA! Alright, RFA. Yeah, take the high five. Sorry, you were saying?
Rip Harold's.
Absolutely not. There it is. Here we go. They've caught all of the Dire team and they are running as fast as they can. Johnny, you need to get out of there, mate, because there is a whole team here. The IO has gone back. Gabala makes a perfect entry with the IO right by their side. You'd pop the Lincolns, but that bear is still running at you, and out comes Tombstone, which is going to give him the vision he needs. Abyssal Blade keeps you in place for just a second, and Huncho, ooh, you need to be careful, mate. He's invisible. We are having a game. Dagon Axe.
Yeah. This has been a treat to watch so far. Okay, so they will wait for Roche to go bottom and
Zeus
then get the...
alone here.
Just ends them out of the game.
That has to have been a meme, right? Like, they're gonna be memeing.
No way.
It's just so much heal, especially with the new facets. Oh my god, they decided to charge in onto Gabala. Gabala might be out of position here. Gets off the scatter shot, but oh, down she goes.
It depends on your mid laner. If your mid laner's okay, another Husker, like that's these last two bans. I think both games have been OD Husker from AU Rejects. They just do not want to get cheesed by Huncho with 100. Rakon drops the easy.
What I was going to say about the Shadow Demon is it's such a... It reminds me of just the Russian teams. They love this hero. They've always loved this hero. It just applies to Spirit Breaker. He's pinned to that tree. The Invoker's here, and I don't think that Necro is going to be around much longer. Beautiful setup from the boys. Well played.
Yeah.
Well played. So this is fantastic. If someone dies close to him, he gets an illusion of the hero that has died close. So it can be enough to give you the damage that you need in a fight, but usually it's in that game. But hey,
you might see the tiny ban. There goes the monkey. That's also kind of expected. Giving first pick Monkey King, especially against Ring, I suppose. The Lifestealer ban catches me off guard because okay, that's two Reverie heroes from Radiant. The Naga and the Troll are 100% Reverie heroes that they don't want him to play. Game squad is built up from the lanes.
You know, I'm not surprised that Dai was caught off guard by that play because it shocked me so hard I couldn't get my words out to just see also on his Rubik, one of the boys of Dog. It's interesting to see that they do put a lot of value on these comfort heroes because we're seeing that reflect in the pro scene, right? You've got players, really dominant players like Amar.
Seconds of invulnerability basically on the auto attacks. Oh, RFA's getting low up top.
And she decides to run forward. All of a sudden, the troll comes out and throws whirling axes. But
15 kills at least, right?
And we did see the Shadow Demon having the impact that we expected it to have, and where it was like saving this Morphling. We did have the swaps from Johnny to keep. Doesn't get caught or doesn't.
He's got a big one. He's not too afraid. I have been seeing a lot of pros do the Ring of Health build on the Ursa. Very, very nice, I think. It keeps you really... I don't think we're going to see a Spirit Breaker game 2. I don't think we're going to see an IO game 2. They're going to maybe try and limit them with their mobility around the map. So I reckon these, like...
That's very exciting for me. I'm pretty stoked to see you in a
they're still discussing on Radiant. I think they're still discussing what they're going to do here. Only winching is, like, obviously winching Io was guaranteed.
He's gonna step away.
He's just charging back.
Hold up, Shadow Demon ult out, Shivas goes off. Huncho trying to get his ult off, but the Zeus keeps interrupting it, and just like that, Raccoon is just leaving. Johnny swaps back Gabal. The Tiny himself, the Tiny himself is going to be struggling with mana into this Invoker. And you mentioned the runes. I've seen really good Invoker players just summon their spirits to go and deny those runes right in front.
Lot. So it's going to be incredibly hard for him to get any relocate saves here. But it's definitely going to be lane to watch will be mid, and then probably top, because the Snapfire damage can just catch people off guard.
That ricochet.
It's a bit of a wash. I don't think he needed the IO to do this, to be honest. I think this lane was always going to go this way once you saw the Spirit Breaker pick. But
there can be a huge amount of burst coming out from either of these heroes at any moment, so keen to watch this in action.
Another reason you won't see a lot of action in the bottom lane is
with him, swap in onto Gabala. They decide to try and deal with the axe first. Johnny trying to keep Ursa busy, but Gabala has decided he's just going to play forward as Gachi is running to that Shadow Demon, and the Shadow Demon is dead without buyback. Johnny doing what he can to fight this stone. It's just like playing old Sand King. Your Sandstorm just becomes so big, so it is being picked a little bit more, at least in the pro scene at the moment. But that's though this Ursa might be a little bit out of position. He's going to try and take what he can because he did get that Wisdom Rune, but I think they'll take his life in return. Swap back, get stunned. Shadow Demon, you need to be careful. That is a big scary bear. You're having a hard game. You still feel like you're in it, especially as a support player. I often get relegated to 5, and when I see a Barra picked, my heart flutters. It's like being a Storm Spirit and seeing a Maiden or an Ezreal on your team. It's like, out! They might take Wing Shing as a return. Here comes the big toss. Ooh, it's just enough to secure that kill. But the bear jumps in. Hold on, the bear is hunting.
He's not for tower aggro. He's gotta be very careful here. No way.
Is that a mid Sand King?
Playing Sand King. Yes.
Who did we see in the pro scene just play this? I'm sure I saw someone in the pro scene just pick this recently.
No way.
Whiffed it a bit there, boys. What's
That
the
is
old?
Unfortunate. Yeah, they just didn't catch anything else. That's insane.
Something that I can't see, but they seem confident with the way that they locked their heroes. They took the Tiny and they immediately snapped up Snap and IO. So this is an opener for them.
The Avalanche giving the Sand King time to wind up the epicenter and just launch. I will say though, Reverie has been known to go max agility and suicide on Morphling. So you never,
especially when you've got the cow stacking up on top. Who did? Yeah, the cow did 1300 damage.
Good.
The cow did 1300 damage. God,
the last pick Zeus has really paid off here. The vision game. Okay, Huncho has actually opted not to go for the blink. They've detected that they have absolutely zero momentum going into the mid game now. After they get 5-man wiped across the entire map. 3 lanes of ironically the Dagon's doing so much work.
Holy, does he actually get dunk stacks off of the Vengeful? He does. I don't know.
think he did.
He didn't? Coming with him, and I think they're about to try and shut this axe down as fast as they can. He gets the Torn off, but he's already switched to strength, so he's okay. Gabala trying to hide in the trees, but Huncho George is here with the stun, and that axe is dead. Okay. Nice. I also noticed immediately that they've decided to ban out the Storm. Obviously, Storm IO is a combo as well, so they didn't elect to get rid of that. Yeah.
So what's they're not going to get Huskard here.
So are you rejects looking for a pos?
Bing chilling and zapping shit for free. I'm curious as to how Honcho's going to answer this one, though. That's going to be the more interesting question.
And
I reckon they might take out They might take out Void Spirit. Oh no, Faceless Void.
Faceless Void.
I was completely wrong with that. I was thinking maybe they want to.
They're looking. You've got Bear Blink, the Zeus as well. They need to be very careful about how they defend this high ground.
The only way I can see them actually defending is if this Tiny is somehow able to...
And the Tiny now has the Rubik rotating in on top of him. The Cold Snap comes out, and so does that huge blast from the Rubik. They're going to try and run him down. Lift goes up, throws him back into the Tornado. He comes out with not very much HP, and I think that's just a dead Tiny on my screen.
like to what lane they'll be going.
Oh, we have an
Very
Invoker. How bloody exciting. God, I love Invoker. I don't play the hero, but I love seeing it played well. And here we have it.
Mars response for probably for Johnny Sins.
So these guys have done their research on each other then. What I saw then was an Io pick. Obviously, Io, one of my favorite heroes, one of the best heroes in the game. Even the is in, Johnny is out, Gachi knows he has to deal with that Shadow Demon and is diving him as hard and fast as he can. Disruption to try and save himself for a second. That BKB is running out, Gachi, and you are deep once again. Tiny. Dire draft seems like the easier draft to execute, but
100%.
I've been proven wrong before. I'm sure you remember the Venomancer from last night, so let's see
God.
what they... Let's see.
Picking bottom. They got the Ursa in position.
I think Johnny feels that something is coming this time and does have the stun.
Yeah.
Throws the stun onto this Moo Cow, but that means that bear is free to just jump on you. Gets the swap, tries to swap the cow in.
All facets to call out here. Axe has the one-man army. The bear down, which means debuffs last 20% longer on the Ursa, insanely good.
RFA to... Charge now in onto Shadow Demon, and he's used his disruption on that Gachi to try and keep him off him, but he couldn't keep that big old Moon Cow from just charging in, and that Moon Cow didn't die earlier, so he's able to keep playing this game. They've got an execution in mind. There's the Mars band, there's the Rubik band, you called that. And they
I didn't
take
call
the
the Mars
Spirit
band,
Breaker.
but they steal the Spirit Breaker, so that's gonna flip it.
Troll is a pretty spooky hero this patch. It sort of feels like when it works, but when it doesn't, it doesn't. I know you can say that about every hero, but when it's a good Troll game, this hero just feels unstoppable. And I know the Oz...
Fighting, and fighting off screen is what I mean. And it just keeps happening every time.
Hey, shard up on Shadow Demon, one of the better shards in the game. Yeah, no, the bear has an enormous amount of damage. Save comes out from our Shadow Demon. Is it enough for him to get to the high ground? It is. And that is why Shadow Demon is the best hero in Dota. Not enough, though, because What a phenomenal performance from AU Rejects. Such a super cool game to see. Like Slaughter Gang did? Or are you going to come up with another wild pick that's a little bit unpredictable, a little bit spicy?
So I think both teams are going to mix up the drafting here. Puncho is edging towards his first item in a long time here.
You know, when they first changed this Dagon, I went for a second and grabbed midair. They do have that big scary Undying on top of them. It looks like Reverie's deciding to deal with the Tombstone as quickly as he can. He doesn't want that in his fight. And down game on this Spirit Breaker. Did you say that Raccoon plays a lot of Spirit Breaker, or is this like a...
How the hell did he get up there? Look at where he's standing and look at the wall
he slipped past. He slipped past Prey.
You need to pick a flexible carry that doesn't have many matchup losses. So in that position, you could pick like an Ursa, you could pick a Juggernaut, you could pick
What's wrong with me? Why can't I
get double from having 275 health. If he was on full, he'd have like 11 damage from health, and that's why you're seeing a lot of like the wands and a lot of heavy branch start, just like the Vengeful Spirit.
Venge to the back.
Venge died bottom. Oh,
Yep.
it's not the worst movement around the map. I mean, we're just waiting for
Facets being introduced to the game is a huge change. Facet interaction with Rubik. Do you think it needs any changes? Oh, Io. Nice.
It is confusing as shit, man, if I have to be completely honest. Having to track...
And the whip comes out. Looks like they're still looking for Win Xing. Shadow Demons died somewhere in the background that I didn't quite catch, but looks like Axe jumps in to get a good call, but he's delayed by the avalanche toss, and now... Ooh, is he in trouble?
It's like a known quantity. To get 6,000 gold out of a banner, I feel like is really, really hard. So you're 100% right, they should have just waited for the Roche to go top. Because like a free Ags on this Ursa, he can never die. They're both incredibly unique and they both have a good flavor to them. Like obviously attack or defense, right?
Yeah.
There's no ambiguity to it. They're both insanely good when you want them. You know what I mean?
Killing. Smoke breaks.
He blinks.
He blinks away.
Insane.
A lot of
and now he
wasted
gets
time.
an ancient stack, and he wastes 3 players' time for nothing. That's like a 500 gold swing in itself, right? That's a kill you thought you were.
Charge from Raccoon to secure the fruit, but RFA is just going to throw out the disruption. But now he doesn't really have any save for himself if they do decide to go. But they're just putting so much damage onto Raccoon. He's running, and he manages to slip away. Zeus
There comes the ulti, but too late.
Too late.
He does the refresh as well. Yeah. It was silly what Goopy's done with his build, but when he went in, he did heal like 800 health off his Dagon. So they are doing it, but I don't know if they're going to be able to continue to do it as the game progresses.
And just an increase in HP pool. Then all of a sudden these heroes that are blowing heroes up at the start of the game really start to drop off. There's a spear, Windy, into the tree, absolutely oblivious. Okay.
Young Harold has Blink now. That is how impactful that engagement was for him. This is the Tiny who had phase boots at like 12 minutes, now has Blink before 15. I told you, he's a comeback king.
It doesn't quite work. You come up against a pretty tough team in Slaughter Gang, maybe underestimating them a little bit. What's your next step? Are you going to go for something more traditional, something easier to execute for 4 times now? For 3 or 4 times? He's not...
I think I saw one. Okay.
Yeah, he's not as far behind as he should be. You know, he's still 1,000. Looks like Raccoon wants to dive. He wants that Rubik, but the blood grenades has come out on Raccoon himself, and he goes down. And now Gubala in a bit of trouble. That troll has a wand. Gubala, you need to run, and that's it. That's a double kill in the top lane straight off the. Flag. It just rubs me the right way, dude, seeing Jason hanging from a flag like that. Oh, look at the other flag as well. I'm joking. Okay, let's get into this. So, tell me a little bit about these teams. What can we expect to see in the bottom of the ditch is because of his Aghanim Scepter, right? Like, that's what makes this hero so strong. And I see he's got the Halberd queued up. I get it. You're against an Ursa. But like, one of the biggest ball plays I've seen, but it might just save... No, it does not save the snap, but then the Avalanche comes out on top of that Invoker, and Invoker is absolutely annihilated. Power shot out to stop the blinks. They've got a few seconds. Avalanche series against Team Dog Cage. I have been messaged by many people who have told me that they were super impressed with your gameplay and your team's gameplay last night. And so that makes it more interesting for me, makes it more interesting for the people that are out there. And lately there's been a whole bunch of stomps. Last night, obviously, you had that fantastic... Does Johnny just have a magnet on top of him? Because this Moo Cow cannot stop charging immediately at Johnny, and there's no ports to save him this time. Gets a stun out, but it's too late, and the bear is just going to eat him for breakfast.
And that's better.
Really puts Oz and China put some value on this this particular hero. How do you think it lines up with what we can see so far on the enemy team?
I quite like the troll pick. It's a good.
So Salt's confused. Oh. And Hunter goes on the Undying. He steps out of position and he goes down as well. This game is pretty active, isn't it? There are kills going on all over the map.
Ceaseless Dirge did act it.
And I feel like we see more of these. Monkey goes. Good to see Monkey. It looks like Slaughter Gang are focusing some real meta heroes rather than target banning, at least from what I can understand.
Now that I think about it. But they haven't actually decided what hero is going in what position. This could be a tiny one here. This could still be a wind one. Gooby is on the snap. Okay, it's the +5 Tiny. Okay. They revealed the blink on Mars yet? I don't think so. I think
No,
he got it after that engagement. Oh,
yeah,
he shows in lane now. Never mind. Yeah, I think Radiant are just gonna drop this tier 1, play the rest of the map.
to this Mars with this facet, and it feels impossible as a save support. And we've got an IO game on our hands, so I really expect that to have some impact this game.
I feel like, yeah, you're not gonna see many IO saves.
Do you want to talk to just talk to Sadist for me for a second? Why we've seen a resurgence in Necro?
Sadist. Oh, right. Okay. So the profane potency. Oh my god.
Where did all that
so much
damage come from? What? Where's my recap?
Yashakaya and I do look like an idiot, but it's really hard to predict because they're doing some silly stuff as well.
Yeah, I can't predict it either, so don't you worry.
Yeah, Voka mid, pos 1 troll, West heroes, and he's just RFA just laying down the law with this Rubik. Insane. That's definitely getting banned. You're not going to see that game here.
I mean, it's a Grandmaster hero. These comfort picks, man, they do what they do. Pros have begged this hero to be removed from the game because it is just so strong. And often in these comp scenes, you don't see as much attention on it, but it gets a lot of attention in the pro scene. So they lock the IO. They're going to try and shut this Axe down. He still does have his tower, so his team can come if they want him. And Huncho does have a whole lot of damage on this Sand King, but his Spidey senses a tingle. Oh, sorry, super stacked.
Yeah, so the lanes have gotten much better for AU rejects this game than last match, which means the Dire's not going to have any momentum going into mid game at this rate.
And his team is here. Out comes the ult. Johnny gets the swap off to try and interrupt that Shadow. Oh, hang on, Shadow Demon is on the sideline. Can he throw any? Snapfire's here. Does the Snapfire have ult? He does. Ooh, big whirlwind, but that EMP is going to do a whole lot to these universal heroes. They're just completely out of mana. Dive from the Spirit Breaker. Can they kill that Snapfire the moment you get back?
Bootsless Vessel at 8 minutes 44 kind of just like puts a wrench in the entire plan of Radiant, you know? Like, the AU rejects don't have a way to enable Gooby. Seems that winching might just be sacrificial lamb here. They want to get the Necro with the smoke, but winching just dewards. Yeah, I think he protected Gachi there. They would have just run straight across.
Wiped over and over again, and so the bluff works. The Zeus just sort of mans up a little bit, and they go, ooh, maybe there's an Axe that's going to blink Dake on me. Maybe there's a Bear that's going to blink on me, so...
Fury Bear getting 3 kills at 13 minutes. He's going to have such a quick blink, and he's going to have such a quick Roche. And so, the things to watch out for in the next 5 minutes, Roche goes tops, AU rejects take it. Obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gooby's just getting unpunished, playing in their jungle, and he's queued up a Dagon of all things. This is going to be great to see. It's going to be clowny as shit.
Hey, I'll say this. Reverie's been dunked what?
Oh yeah, you can just see how much like this Tiny does, right? This guy got absolutely jibbed in lane, and he does 1 toss combo, and that's 2/3 of an Invoker's health full. And that's an 1800 health Invoker.
Come to these fights, get these absolutely stellar Mars ults off. The amount of times I screamed, oh my god, another phenomenal Mars ult in that game. As he just gets in, he's about to take a whole lot of damage. There he goes.
Went
down. 1 hit.
Yeah, I think he overstayed his welcome there, definitely. And he didn't even deny the bounty room.
They feed the Benji to the bear too.
Sorry, what?
They feed...
Because it just makes some spells absolutely busted. Like, imagine having a toss that does its damage in like a 700 AoE, and then Rubik just has that for some reason.
I had a player in my stack today telling me about a Rubik that had, I think he said, very Herald perspective. You're the big brain analyst.
I wouldn't have expected it into the Zeus, you know? Like, the Zeus gives like vision constantly, but like all he has to do to win the game of Sand King is get on top of Zeus and drop.
Just yet, but they pop the Zeus ult to try and finish him. Oh dear god, he's trying to switch to strength, he's trying as hard as he can. He's caught in that Zeus Aghanim Scepter with the refresher, but he manages to slink out, and now...
So I guess we'll just have to see like how it goes down altogether. And to circle back to Rubik, I don't know why they decided to make him gain AoE with spell C facet. Basically, as he gets more and more kills with his Sadist, because obviously you get one stack every time you kill a creep, and you get, is it 6 from a hero? And currently,
Lord.
these Greaves on Winching are doing God's work for him.
Mm.
And it's insane. So they did change the Roshan's banner. It's not going to leave the lasting buff on them anymore. So these creeps are just going to be standard creeps. George gets the Agonyms, he's going to control all of the go-in from Radiant and just nullify the crap out of it.
And Aftershock. And there was some interaction there that would permanently lock people into a stun. So hopefully they don't pick a punch and we don't see that sort of action. Hey, Troll comes out.
And Radiant haven't drafted enough stuns here. It's really starting to show. Like they have a lot of short stuns, but they don't have any good, reliable long-range lockdown. Nothing like a Bane, for example. And it's really starting to show. But we don't have an expected winner, I wouldn't say, out of any of these. It could really go any way between like the top 3 or even the top 5.
So put me in the mindset of Rambe on this Spirit Breaker. Just unbelievable performance. It just felt like it was everywhere. 63 Culling Blade stacks? Or Coat of Blood,
It's
I think
a lot,
it's called
yeah.
now. But they didn't deal with the bear.
Was it
And there's that
short burst?
beautiful save from RFA, but it might not be enough to save the Venji. She's slipping out in the back. She's got to deal with the zombies. She doesn't deal with the zombies, and now she's dead. Up to 20%. And then even if you don't take that absolutely nuts facet, which I think you'd be crazy not to, his other facet, the illusion facet, is also dramatic because Cole's got the Whirling Axis, and Kabbalah is gone. Doesn't even need to pop
not
the
getting
ult.
to the start he wanted this game. He definitely wanted to be doing a bit better than where he is now.
Rubik, this damage coming out of Rubik pre 4 minutes is absolutely insane. Good God.
Yeah,
It's
RFA
1,000
is playing
damage.
max limits.
1,000 damage.
And max limits.
Top of that Morphling. There is the save we were talking about, though. Is it enough to keep this Morphling alive? The swap gets him away. You mentioned that earlier, that Venji would be there to swap afterwards. And now they may just lose Johnny instead of... Tiny is very far forward now and surrounded by a whole bunch of heroes. His ward catches them, and all of a sudden, his sphincter tightens and he needs to move because he sees 3 heroes are right next to get out of there. Oh, both of these teams are making mistakes, but both of these teams are making sick plays. This is good Dota. This is the kind of Dota that you can feel the pressure on these teams right there.
It's guaranteed.
Hancho
Gabala's just farming their
up
jungle.
top,
He just does not
gets
care.
the stun off onto Gabala, but then the call
Doesn't
comes out in
matter.
return. Hancho
Judy's
needs to be
queuing up a
careful though
Dagon.
because he's
My
being
God.
charged, and that. Don't know how you enjoy playing it. But there are some IO players out there who'll know exactly what I'm talking about when you say you have so much impact and control of the game as this hero. It's the macro that makes this game fun, not necessarily... Gives that to Zeus? Yep.
So I think the most important thing to check is to swap to net worths here and look at the net worth here.
Oh, hang on, Gabala
Zeus is winning.
has
the
been
Ursa
found
is
by the
winning as
Morphling,
well.
but he is pretty thick. Looks like he's just... Just unbelievable, and I wonder if IO decides to go for, is it Blitzkrieg or Kritzkrieg, the heal one, the extra magic resistance? Could be pretty good, but then there's not a whole lot of magic team on.
At a game.
Maybe they thought they could play into it. I watched your game a couple of days ago where you decided to just take the gyro into the Shadow Fiend. You didn't seem to care too much about it. Maybe they don't respect it either.
Really,
yeah,
really rough.
Okay. Alright, well...
Yes, so the Rubik's is going to be banned, the IO is going to be banned, and the Break is going to be banned.
So if they ban those 3 heroes, let's say they get rid of those 3. Lord on top of RFA's Rubik. Uh-oh!
I believe
Uh-oh!
before all that had happened, the Spirit Breaker actually just watered, and the entire fight happens on
Mooncow charging in, and now comes the Zeusalt, and the crab is dead! Yule's out from Prey, he's got him there, and Reverie's going to jump in himself. They deal with the Spirit Breaker, but now there is a big... Not just his damage, so allies as well.
I see.
So, I mean, that Shadow, that Spirit Breaker dies a lot earlier if he does have Promulgate there, but again, he's... Relax call, and down goes the Sand King and the Shadow Demon almost immediately. This Venti needs to be careful. There's the Refresher Orb coming out to get the Tombstone down to give the vision for Team Radiant. They are thinking about it. No, he's going to pull it out.
They know he's in the area. Okay, he gets out.
Smart man.
If they knew exactly where he was, they would Zeus ulting him. He's just dead. Sorry, yeah. So, with the entire map, just building the network leaves. I think Reverie sees the top lane, looks good. And Axe is waiting for him up there as well.
Johnny 200 gone. Big whirlwind EMP to try and get the mana out of Garchi, but Garchi decides to use his shard. He does have his shard now to just reposition himself. Rod comes out from the Windrunner, and and the troll might have to pop ult here if he wants to have any chance of surviving it. Though I don't think he can survive. I think he decides to try and take someone out with him, and it's going to be Gabala. Huge!
Oh, the mech!
Oh, the mech! Big save! Stops that. Represented a bit, and it's strong. Shadow Fiend is